Hi, please forgive the incredibly ugly and utilitarian background. Hotels, right? What can you do? So I've got a few more stories to share from Damon Knight's Turning On. Fantastic little book that it is. And I have to say they're kind of emphasizing to me why Damon Knight could be such an utter twerp when it came to reviewing other science fiction writers. He was an American author. He was incredibly influential in the SFF community. He was influential he was in the Futurians. He knew Donald A. Wollheim. He was part of a huge amount of core science fiction community and life in America. And he was a devastatingly harsh reviewer. He said incredibly nasty things about a lot of stories and authors, including some that I'm very fond of. He was incidentally married to Kate Wilhelm. I think she was his second wife. Reading these short stories kind of explains to me why. You've got authors out there that are marvelous ideas men. I'm going to say Philip Jose Farmer, the River World series, great. Concepts, not always terribly well executed. And you've got other writers out there that can write really well, but whose ideas just go off track. Actually, that's Philip Jose Farmer again, but many others. And I can still enjoy those stories even if they're not terribly well written, or if the concepts are so-so or variable. But Damon Knight, he could do both. The concepts that he's got in these short stories are phenomenal. And the writing is spectacular. It is beautiful. Lyrical. I feel like these are the stories of someone who's writing for fun and for personal reasons rather than someone who's trying to knock one out fast like Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit in order to get it to the publisher in a hurry or make a buck. So in the last video I reviewed two of them. The third story is Man in a Jar. Man in a Jar was first published as a short story in 1957 by Galaxy Publishing Corporation. It is a fantastic little story, both concept and writing. It's very colonial in feel. We're in a future much like the Ray Bradbury Mars future, or perhaps even the Heinlein many different worlds in the solar system have been colonized type verse. And there's this guy who's gone to a planet, and I think it's Mars, but I'm not certain. Pretty sure it's Mars, looking for the native population who have apparently disappeared. He believes that the bellboy in his hotel is one of this race, and he goes to a trickery to entrap him. It's a fantastic little story. It's suspenseful. It's slightly malign. Its ending is wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. The next one is The Handler. That is from 1960 by Greenleaf Publishing Company. It's a short story and it's kind of misandrous and rather bitter. You've got this man comes into a pub. He's dynamic, everyone loves him, and they're yelling, Pete, 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 as soon as he gets in. All the attention, center of attention, bartender knows his drink, all that sort of thing. And then we find out that it's not a person, it's a suit, and there's another person inside that suit. And you're left with so many questions. How is this happening? Is everyone else in the bar a person in a suit? Because it's taken as normal. People react to the person in the suit and the suit entirely differently. It's really, really weird. It will mess with your head. This is weird fiction at its best, because at the end of the reading experience, you're left going, I don't know. It's a complete story, but you'll be thinking about it for ages, and I thought about it all day. That was The Handler. The next one I read was Mary, copyright 1964 by Galaxy Publishing Corporation, published in Galaxy under the title An Ancient Madness. Another fantastic one. The writing here really came to the fore. It's lyrical. It describes a world that feels like an Aegean paradise island, and it feels sort of a bit Grecian, a bit Roman Mediterranean paradise. It's clearly a utopia of sorts, but from the start we know that the people aren't people that were born the same way we were born. There's clearly some sort of genetic stuff happening there. And it's a love story. It's perhaps one of the better short stories that are also a love story and also a science fiction. Maybe my favorite that I can remember right now. So Mary is one of the guild of weavers. They sit there and they weave. They're all women. She's the latest that's come out, and everyone, and it was known that her genetic code was infected or afflicted by a moroseness. Anyway, she falls in love, and I won't say anything more about that, except that this is pure science fiction, and yet an excellent love story, lyrically written beautifully. If you read this while you were sitting in the Mediterranean, you could probably look out over the Mediterranean and think, yes, this is the scene he's describing. Loved that one. I just finished Auto de Fe. That's from 1961, again, Galaxy Publishing Corporation. If you've read Simax City, where dogs are now the reigning race, I was struck throughout this that we might be on the verge of that future. So the king of the world sat on a balcony listening to the wind blow around the tower. He was drunk. The dog Roland lay at his feet, not quite near enough for a kick. This is the last man and the last dog, but humanity has found the ability to extend lifetime. He's probably close to 1,000 years old, but his end is coming. The dog Roland is hundreds of years old, and we've genetically mutated them so that they can walk upright and they can behave in a whole uncanine way. They can walk upright, which isn't good for them, but they can speak, and they're still serving mankind. It's a bitter, harsh little story, and the ending is hard-hitting. Do recommend, thoroughly recommend. Anyway, I'm almost halfway through this little volume of short stories. I don't know if I'll finish it anytime soon, but thanks for watching. Read good books, read short stories.